I want to talk about those sanctuary city policies. As you know, as you touched on, New York City is a sanctuary city. New York State is a sanctuary state. Do you think there should be limiting principles when it comes to a sanctuary area?
Of course, if you don't put things in place, for instance, like a cap, right? You want to call yourself a sanctuary city or a state. Guess what? Then you know what? We should have a number. Once you get to that number, that's it. Then the others have to go somewhere else. Because if you don't draw that line, guess what? How much more thousands can come in, right? Just, I think it was 2 weeks ago at the border, you had people leaving kids there with just a note. Children were left at the border with just a note. They were just coming in by the thousands, right? How could we remedy this problem, right?
How could we remedy this problem? Let's talk about that because like you said earlier, there is this blame game going around. The mayor's blaming the governor's blaming the Biden administration's blaming Congress, and I've talked to members of both sides of the aisle in Congress and they've pointed the finger at the others, and it's at an impasse right now. So, A, where do you think that blame lies? And B, what is the solution here?
Well, first of all, I will just talk on the behalf of the elected officials in the southern part of Brooklyn and the southern part of Queens. This fight against housing the migrants in certain communities is a bipartisan one. It's not a Republican thing, it's not a Democratic thing. It's a bipartisan one, right? We deserve better as citizens, as New Yorkers, we deserve better, right? Our property taxes, it's not cheap. Property taxes went up, right? And we deserve better. The people deserve better. The other thing, it's a common sense thing, right? We're not saying, to put electrical fences, but something has to be done to our border. Our border needs to be secured. If you or myself were to go into another country, and I would say, quite frankly, my mom, she's a Canadian, right? She lives in Canada. So I go visit her from time to time. And every time that I go to that border, I am stopped. I have to give them my driver's license or my passport, and there's a series of questions that I have to answer, sorry, right? To cross, I don't run across the border, I don't walk across the border. I am stopped going into Canada, and when I'm coming back home, I'm asked a series of questions. So why are we having our borders unsecured for this to happen? If we don't secure it at some point, it will never stop. It will never stop.
What does securing the border look like to you? Because Democrats I have talked to said that this is a humanitarian crisis that starts in other countries. So when you say we need to secure the border, what specifically do you mean?
Well, that I would have to take a visit there. It's beyond me to tell you exactly what it is I mean. At every border there is a stringent of things, whether it's more enforcement, whether it's building more walls. In this day, any word that you use can be turned into something different, right? So that's a question for the Biden administration to answer to the people. But I will tell you, yes, they keep saying it's a humanitarian crisis that's going on. But we have to let the people know a lot of these migrants that are coming in is also coming in from other parts of the world. That's actually flying in to Nicaragua. Okay, it's a humanitarian crisis. But they have the money to fly into Nicaragua, then to pay one of these individuals to get them through the border and so forth. So, yes, it is a crisis, but also we have to realize that some people will take advantage of this, just like everything else. This is not like, this is not like the Ukraine where, we have all this happening there. It's not. It's not. These people need to be processed, they need to be vetted. And the quicker they do that, it's better for our state.
I do want to get your opinion on one number. Mayor Eric Adams said that this could cost the city $12 billion over the next 3 years if policies don't change. You hear that number, what do you think, and where's the money coming from?
Well, I mean, it makes me cringe because there's no free money. There is no free money. Somebody has to pay for it, right? And for everyone who are homeowners, property owners, they've seen 2 days ago they got their property taxes bill, right? The taxes went up, utilities went up, water went up, everything went up. So again, it goes back to who's paying for this, right? The taxpayers are paying for it. It's not, the money is not going to come and then it's just going to go away. That's why there's checks and balances. I mean, we just went through a whole budget where everyone is, trying to get the best that they can for the things that they care about, right? And then for the governor to come out and have money. I mean, again, it's the lack of transparency, and then to come and said, 12 million, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Whereas we have seniors that are living on fixed incomes, we have veterans that are homeless as well, right? Who fought for our country, and there is nothing there for them. People that are there on a waiting list, waiting to get an apartment. So, we have to do right. And I understand the crisis, but at the same time, we can't put New Yorkers against migrants or migrants against people that were here for many years that's still undocumented.
I mean, 12 billion is just a staggering number, and this comes at the exact same time New York is already seeing its own housing crisis without the influx of migrants here. So my last question to you would be, what do you want to see immediately from both Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul?
Well, I think one of the solutions to this, and the quickest way, is for the governor to call for an executive order, right? Open up the rest of the state so the rest of the state can absorb some of these migrants, right? And then take it from there. You can't just have the New York City, you just can't have us holding the brunt of this. And then if she does that, it will take some stress off the mayor's hands as well, right? But doing all that in consideration, again, if we don't secure our borders, it will not stop, right? They will not stop coming.